Hall had plenty of inspiration.
The great thing about writing for a musical is you know the characters, and he wrote the lyrics in kind of running order. So you had a start and a finish, and you just start at the beginning and you work your way through.
The music in Billy Elliot is not what you might expect from Elton John. He says it was important to be authentic, to use elements of folk music you'd hear in a northeast England coal mining town. Authenticity is key for every aspect of this show as the creative team prepares to launch the second national tour. More than 150 people are part of this endeavor. Many have been with the show since it began, like hair designer Campbell Young.
We've kept to the same recipe from when we first did it in London.
Young says his goal is to make the actors look like real people from 1984 who lived through the coal miners' strike.
And there were some great reference pictures of these women, shouting at policemen and angry, and older women. And one of the older women that we have in the show, and she's just a very simple-looking lady, and she has a scarf on her head, and you see them all the time in sort of villages.
Most of the costumes are also vintage 1980s, and while they're 25 years old, they're new to this show.
This tour is pretty much from scratch. There's some elements that we've incorporated that we've learned from the other productions that have been done, but this has been pretty much all new.
Many of the costumes are worn by children, and again, the goal is to make them look like regular kids, even when they have to wear layers of clothing for quick costume changes between scenes.
During the opening, we have to wear this. We have to wear the jeans. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we have our boxing shirt, and then we have to wear all of this at once.
The props are the real deal too, like this bike Billy's friend Michael rides in the opening number of the show.
Wow, oh, I can't.
One of the Michaels, Jacob, made the most of the sidewalk outside Deepak to learn to ride.
He's done so fantastically. It was only 2 weeks.
Well, it's for first time,
I beg your pardon.
Of course, what really puts you in County Durham, England, is the dialect. The actors speak in what's known as a Geordie accent.
It's our first audition.
You have a dialect person in the room with you all the time. So every time you slip up, and you slip up, you just kind of look over there for a second and look back, because okay, I messed that one up.
Boots off the table!
And while the actors strive to get it right, they've actually softened the accent for the U.S. shows.
If we actually spoke with a true Geordie accent, I think it would be very difficult for audience members to understand what it is we're saying. So we have adjusted things in the dialect to make it a little more easy to understand.
Very careful planning and attention to detail are part of the reason the show has enjoyed such success in the U.S. and around the world.
We didn't know if it would translate to Australia or America, as it has done, and we were very, very pleased about that.
Staging a musical with more than a dozen children in it can present some challenges.
Just ahead in our ABC 11 special, Step by Step with Billy Elliot, how the young actors learn their parts and build their stamina. And find out how you can win 4 tickets to see Billy Elliot at its opening matinee on October 30th. Welcome back to our ABC 11 special, Step by Step with Billy Elliot. Before the actors arrived here in Durham, they spent weeks in New York in a rehearsal hall. By mid-October, it was finally time for the actors to step foot on the stage.
And forward, up!
When the Billy Elliot cast made it to the Durham Performing Arts Center, they took over, not just the stage, but the entire theater. They've made use of every available space, in the house and in the lobby. setting up temporary dance floors and makeshift rehearsal halls anywhere there's room. Nathan Sherritt grew up in Durham and landed a role in the ensemble of Billy Elliot.
Selfishly at all, I mean, I'm just excited to be here because it's my hometown, and I'm here for 6 weeks with family and friends. But it's just really great that we're launching in a city like this that I think will really promote the show and welcome us all, and just really get behind this neat experience of launching the tour.
To show off the physicality of what it means to be like a male dancer, how athletic that is.
The boys who play Billy have sessions with a variety of teachers and coaches who put them through intense workouts. Most of them had some dance background when they were cast, but none had enough skill for this role. In fact, Michael Dameski from Australia had no dance experience.
1, 2.
He only knew how to tumble.
It was something I never thought I was going to get because I had no training whatsoever.
But Michael and the others were cast because the director saw their potential and believed they could learn on the job. They trained for weeks, sometimes months, not only to learn their routines, but to get them in shape so they're ready for their rigorous role.
Stamina is really, really important, and I've only done like few short minutes of competitions, and I've never experienced like a whole 3-hour show, or so. Yeah, it's really hard.
Perhaps one of the most unusual stunts they're asked to learn is how to fly. In one of the dances, Billy soars through the air on a cable. This too takes weeks of practice to perfect the technique and stay in control off the ground.
Look, it's got mold on it.
It's also hard learning how to act. Before this show, many of the boys had no formal training, yet they're being asked to perform with stage veterans.
I think the hardest part is just trying to figure out what you have to do each time to get into the character, because sometimes the emotion just doesn't, you can't get it.
For some, the emotion comes from relating to Billy's character when he's ostracized for wanting to dance.
I've experienced that in my school back in Switzerland, because I was the only boy that danced in my school.
Having so many child actors presents a unique challenge for the rest of the company. Extra rehearsals. Every time the actors go through a scene that involves Billy, they go through it with all the Billies. And while it can be a little confusing at times, the adult actors say the extra practice helps.
Normally you take a show and you take it through one time. Well, we have to take the show 5 times. So it takes that much longer to do. And sometimes that can be frustrating, but more than anything, it's just good for us. The repetition, we are going to know this show by opening, that's for sure.
Despite the repetition, each show is different because each Billy brings a different style and strength to the role. Billy's big solo dance in the second act is even choreographed 5 different ways to show off each boy's specialty.
The show that you see on a Tuesday night will be a different show to the show you see on a Thursday night, depending on which child is performing that night.
Many of the actors in Billy Elliot have not worked with this many kids at once. And as they go through rehearsals, they've come to realize they bring a unique energy to the company.
You get honest reactions from them all the time, so you can't help but give an honest reaction back. It's not all planned out in their heads. It's all there, and it's great. It's great. I love it.
Morning, Jackie. Breakfast.
And as the cast gets closer to finally launching this tour, they know everything they're learning from one another during their weeks of rehearsal is preparing them for a big payoff.
But once you get on stage and the crowd just gives you that round of applause, you can't be anywhere else at that time. It's the best feeling.
The excitement is building as the cast and crew get ready for opening night. The production is nearly complete, and it's time for the actors to prepare for the final dress rehearsal. Just ahead on our ABC 11 special, Step by Step with Billy Elliot, a sneak preview of what you'll see on the D-Pack stage. And we'll have the secret word you'll need to enter our contest to win 4 tickets to Billy Elliot.